Juliette's daddy. Uh, I don't like to see my ugly mug so much, but what I want to do is I want to tell you the story of what happened uh, as to why I haven't seen you in over 2 years. It's a long story, and I want to read all the emails, especially the last 2 months leading up to it. Now, all the emails over the 3+ years that you visited me here are in my computer and printed out. So if they aren't in your mother's computer or Gmail erases them for some reason, they'll be there for you to read. Hopefully there'll be some way for you to get hold of them. Everything should be on a hard drive for you, given to you when I die. I spoke last time about the improbability of your having a bad time visiting me when not only did you never or rarely ever object in any of your visits here. Quite the opposite. You acted like you had a good time. And we went to Cleveland together for almost 2 weeks in Pittsburgh. But neither did your mother ever leave any trace. I know we can't trace the phone calls that she might have made me, but certainly the emails, she never really ever called me. She only spoke to me by email. There's a time in your life, really 3 times. The time before your mother and I split up, you were too young to remember. And then the time from you were about 2 till the time you were 11. And during that time, we had a great time. And your mother and I were friendly with each other. And it's really hard for me to explain why she didn't move to Florida. Because she had a good job, you don't want to leave a good job. And she had left me for this guy, John. And I don't know how long that lasted, but for whatever reason, after an initial short bad period, we got on really well. I gave her $700 a month child support on a handshake deal. No court ordered, nothing court ordered. We pulled the plug on going to the court and getting divorced like the day before it happened, and all the lawyers went away, and we lived a pretty happy and content life. And you were a very happy and content little girl, which played video games and watched TV with me and went to Disney World with me every year. And I came to your house or your apartment and visited you there, and was even allowed to be there alone with you and drive your mother's car. And she came into my place. And then came 2011 when she tried to sneak off to Florida, and I stopped her. That's when the you-know-what hit the fan. I understand her wanting to move to Florida, but the way she went about it, went behind my back. I didn't know how far along she had gotten, but she was going to surely be to the point of no return. But she made a mistake. And the one thing she didn't know about was that you told me you guys were moving. She didn't know you told me you guys were moving. And I went to the lawyers and I tried to find out whether that was legal, and they said no, it was not. So if she had got to Florida with you, it would have been very hard to bring you back. But the mistake she made was that she told me right at the 11th hour, right before she went and moved to Florida, but while she was still in New York. And I told her, no, you're not. And within a day, she got served papers by the court, and your remember she was really sad about it, and she was really angry with me about it. And from that point on, nothing was ever the same. She was so angry that she had vowed to me in court that she would do whatever or say whatever in court to make sure I never see you again. Well, that didn't exactly happen, because it took a year and a half of me not seeing you, but by the time you were 12, almost 13, I did get visitation with you again, as appointed by a judge in the court of law, because your mother also wanted a divorce. But with that divorce came legal, court-ordered visitation, which she, as by law, had to obey. So she hated the fact that you had to come over here. She never let me inside your apartment again. For the same reasons, I pretty much didn't let her in here. And even though at times we got along, the relationship had cooled off a great deal. Now, I don't know how long she had planned on doing what she did. And as to exactly why she did what she did, we don't know. But as I said, it all came very fast. I tried to find out how badly I hurt her. I tried to find out how far along was she. Did she move all her things down to Florida already? Had she set you up in school already? Was she on a plane the next day to go to Florida? So, during the time that I was under the order of protection in 2016, I called the real estate agents around here, and you'd think that they would be very reluctant to share any information. I didn't say I was Lori's ex-husband, but I said I wanted to buy an apartment in 110 Draper Lane, because I had somebody I knew that lived there, and I liked the place. And I heard that apartment 1H was moving out. And they said, oh, that was a few years ago. And the sale happened, but it had to be retracted. So your mother actually had gone through with the sale of the apartment. No wonder she was so angry. And not only that, all you have to do is go to Trulia, and look at that. There is your apartment. The 8 pictures of it for sale. You see that? I could tell by that is your apartment because of that wicker cabinet, which I owned, and that cabinet which I owned, and all those chairs which I put the wheels on the bottom of them. And that's your couch, which I recognized. And your kitchen, sort of nondescript there, because everything had been moved out, because you guys were essentially gone. And your bedroom, I know your bed, but look at that white TV. I bought 2 of those TVs. And that was if anything, was a dead giveaway that was your apartment and then your mother's bedroom. And the bed might be turned around or something, but these were up on Trulia. I could see them all. I could see all these pictures of your mother's apartment that had been put up for sale. And the woman at the real estate agency told me that if your mother moves out of that apartment, I am going to be the first one she calls once that apartment becomes vacant. And it wasn't Trulia, it was another real estate agent, so I'll just leave your mother guessing, or just call them all and say don't call Lyle Lloyd or whatever. Well, that's kind of too late now, because I stopped her from moving. And they asked her in court, did he pay you any child support over the time from 2002 to 2009 or whatever it was? And your mother still looked at the judge and said no. my jaw hit the floor. I said, Lori, I gave you $700 a month, every month until I left ABC. And she just didn't say anything. And it just goes to show you that there was well, not the first time, but, you know, your mother just deadpan lied to the judge to make me look bad. And as I said, I had to go to doctors, and I had to go through this. She put me through hell. I missed her 12th birthday. I asked if I could come see you on your 12th birthday. She said no. I asked if I could take you to see Grandpa on his deathbed, and I went there, and he said, "Where's Juliette? Where's Juliette?" And I said, I couldn't tell him anything because your mother would not let me take you to see him. That, to me, is the most immoral thing I think she did of anything, you know. And there's no ways of spinning that and making that look good, because that was just wrong. And then I got to see you twice a week for almost 300 visits, and like I said, most of those visits went fine. So let me pick up the story from after the divorce and I started seeing you again.